Chris Lee and Chase Robinson here to preview the Birmingham Bowl. Vanderbilt versus Georgia Tech in Birmingham, Alabama, Friday, December the 27th, 2:30 Central. You can catch that on ESPN. BetOnline has Georgia Tech, I think, by a couple of points as we're doing this with an over-under of 52. My model's got Georgia Tech by about a point and a half. This is an interesting one, Chase, because I think there are some players out for both teams that have hit the portal, but not as many as a lot of other places, not as many opt-outs for the draft. This could be one of those bowl games that's actually interesting because I think both teams are invested and want to win. I would think, at least looking at it from the outside.
Yeah, to me, this is one of the most compelling bowl games that we can talk about that don't have ties to the college football playoff because, look, I feel like both of these teams, the way their seasons have gone, these guys are like, hey, let's finish this thing together.
Yeah.
Let's continue to make some history, make some noise, and I feel like especially on Vanderbilt's side, it's let's finish the season with an exclamation point. And I feel like Georgia Tech saying the same thing, especially after almost knocking off Georgia in the last week of the regular season in that crazy 8 overtime game. Both of these teams, I feel like, are wanting to put that exclamation point at the end of their season, and they're all in on this bowl game, which to me, again, makes for one of the most compelling bowl games.
Yeah, I see it the same way too. Well, let's talk about the matchup. Let's start with Vanderbilt when it's got the ball. And I'll have you pull up the graphic here. You can see by the numbers. And I think this one actually probably carries some weight here.
Yeah.
I think that our number on Vanderbilt on the pass play might be a little bit wrong. But the rushing plays have not really gone Vanderbilt's way lately. I guess that is right. I feel like Vanderbilt's efficiency in the passing game has gone down the last few games. It was up in the 8s. Vanderbilt just doesn't have any explosiveness in the rushing game. Georgia Tech, not great defensively against the run. They don't get a pass rush. Vanderbilt does give up some pressure that doesn't show up in the sack numbers. And Vanderbilt just doesn't really turn the ball over. Vanderbilt's got to get back to getting the Diego Pavia type games that he was having early in the season. Now, look, I think that's something that when you look at it, you got to take under consideration who they played. They played some great defenses down the stretch, South Carolina, Tennessee, those type of things. So that factors in. But I think that kid was beat up a lot of the year, and you would think that the weeks off would help him be fresher for this one, and they're really going to need that.
They are. And, Pavia has played a lot of, hard-nosed football, and so I do think this period of being able to rest will definitely benefit him. And again, this will be it for Pavia. Like, you imagine he's going to go all in this game. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him because he'll be more fresh. I feel like they can do some good things on Georgia Tech and again, get some of these receivers going and you just letting Pavia kind of run the show, I feel like, is when Vanderbilt has been at its best, and I look for them to do that in this Birmingham Bowl game.
Yeah, it may or may not be his last game at Vanderbilt. They're waiting on an appeal of a JUCO policy, which still hasn't come down as we're doing this. So in any case, we'll flip sides of the matchup, and as we do, we'll remind you BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action, the ability to watch games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball to NHL, UFC. Head to BetOnline today. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that is BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. And certainly, this is going to be one hard to get an opinion on where to go. I'll just tease that a little bit. But looking at the defense here for Vanderbilt versus Georgia Tech's offense, I think Haynes King has been a terrific player for Tech. Of course, the Texas A&M transfer. Watched that Georgia game where they were so impressive. Watched him at the first of the season where he engineered an upset at the time over Florida State that ended up not being an upset so much. They protect King incredibly well. I mean, that sack number is just unbelievable. They don't turn the ball over. Vanderbilt's defense is kind of a bend but don't break kind of unit. Not a star-studded bunch, but Haynes King, I think, the guy to watch on this side of the matchup, Chase.
Yeah, he has struggled with injury this year, and I feel like we haven't seen him 100% in a while. I don't even think he was 100% in that Georgia game, which I thought he did good in. But he has said prior to this game that he's 100% for this Birmingham Bowl, and so I think that he'll be in a good state of mind, being healthy coming into this game, and that will present some challenges for Vanderbilt defensively, because I do think he is a good quarterback. He's got some good pieces around him, and this should be again an interesting side because, yeah, Vanderbilt's defense has held some good offenses to making mistakes, to forcing them to be uncomfortable. And yeah, it's not a star-studded group, but they do the job. They get it done. And I think they can do some things on Haynes King and Georgia Tech to make him uncomfortable. But I am anxious to see a healthy Haynes King take the field for the Yellow Jackets.
No, they won't have, I think, Eric Singleton, their leading receiver, who's at the portal. Is that correct?
Yes, he has. He will not be in the game.
Yeah, so there's that also. Let's get to picks and why. I think this is a tough one to pick. I'll let you go first.
It is a tough one to pick because I feel like, again, both of these teams have done some really good things this year, and they have a chance to, like I said at the beginning of this video, put an exclamation point on their season by winning the bowl game. And it's one of the most compelling bowl games. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm planning to be there at Protective Stadium in Birmingham to watch this one. I'm really excited about it. And I think Vanderbilt has what it takes to win this game. I like what they've done offensively. Again, I think this could be a really, really good game to come down to the end. I'm going to take the Commodores, though, to get that exclamation point at the end of what's been a historic season there in Nashville.
Yeah, I've seen both teams play quite a bit. When I was thinking about this from an SEC perspective and what gives Vanderbilt trouble, some teams are really physical in the trenches and don't make mistakes. Those were kind of common denominators when Vanderbilt slipped a little bit late in the year. I use slipped loosely. They played some tougher teams. The upsets just didn't come. Watching Haynes King in that Georgia game, and frankly, Tech should have won that game, I thought. Looking at their schedule, that and what they did this year, they beat Miami. I guess their trouble came kind of away from home. They lost at Syracuse. They lost at Louisville. They did win at North Carolina. They lost at Virginia Tech. I know this isn't a true road game, but I don't know. I just thought that for Vanderbilt, this was kind of a bad matchup. Would it shock me if they won the game? No. I mean, Vanderbilt won 4 times as a double-figure underdog this year, but I guess just for the sake of diversity, if nothing else, I'll go the other side on this one. So one of us gets it right, but I think it'll be a good game to watch. And again, I think if you're Vanderbilt, you're probably hoping for a team that maybe didn't want to be there, and I'm just not sure that's the case with Georgia Tech. So anyway, we'll wrap it up afterwards. Hope you'll hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and tell a friend. For Chase Robinson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching Southeastern 16 presented by BetOnline.